Hey everyone, and welcome to today's tutorial. Today we are going to be working with the collection from Simple Stories called Happy Trail. So along with the collection kit, we're going to be using the chipboard stickers along with the journaling bits and pieces and just the regular bits and pieces. So we are going to be making 6 pages today. So we are going to need 11 out of the 12 papers. So anytime that we do the 6-page workshop, we're making sure that we like all the papers that come in the collection kit. Okay, so I'm going to include 3 sheets of Kraft cardstock, 1 sheet from Basil called Pineapple Bliss, and 2 sheets from Stampin' Up called Old Olive. Any other kind of greens would work well as with this collection as well. That's just what I had on hand and what I wanted to use. Okay, so I took the 12 by 12 sticker sheet out and I'm just going through all of the papers here that we have to work with. We only get 1 spare sheet of cardstock. So we need all the pattern papers except for 1. So here I flipped over the sides of the papers that I like the best. So I have them up facing me so I see what we're working with. And we need 6 background papers and then 5 accent papers that will go on all of those 6 pages. Okay, so this plaid paper here is for sure one of my accent papers. It incorporates all the different colors and it stands out on all the rest of the pages. Same thing with this orange one. I feel like it's got a uniform pattern to it and the coloring is very dominant. Same thing with this one. The coloring is very dominant. What I like about this sheet as well is that it's good on both sides. So we can choose later on when we're assembling our pages to flip that page over and use the back side if we want to. This page here, the patterning is really big on it and it's really not a dominant color in this collection, so I'm not going to be using that green one as a background. I do, however, like this one as an accent paper. I incorporate some of that teal color, and we could also use the back side if we want to. Here, again, this pattern is just too big as a cut up accent paper, so we're going to use it as a background paper. Same thing with this one. And later on, when we're assembling our pages, I can choose which side I want to use. I love this one as well for a background paper. It incorporates some of that wood grain and some of those decals that I like. So here we need 1 more accent paper and we need 3 more background pages. So all the colors that are left are blue, kind of a bluish, and they don't necessarily work well with the cardstock colors that I've chosen, but I'm going to try and make sure to work it all together using the embellishments. I'm not too sure about that cloud paper yet. So we're going to and I ended up choosing this one as my final accent paper. If I need to, I can use the back side, but I do like that front side. I like the patterning on it and incorporates all the different colors and the theming as well of this kit. Okay, so now we need 2 more background pages, and I really have a hard time deciding here. So I for sure like this wood grain. All of the accent papers look good on it. Same thing with the cardstock colors. Here, I'm really having a hard time between these 2 pages. I look at the back side and neither of those work, but both of them do work well to have as a spare piece of cardstock because they are journaling cards, so they would make great accents on our pages as well. We can choose to cut up that that spare sheet of cardstock, and we would have embellishments for our pages. So here I decided to pick that dark navy star paper as my final background and use this cloud paper here as our spare sheet. We have cutting diagrams in my tutorial videos, and I just kind of want to let you know how to read them. So there's the number and top in inches, and that's going to be the size that we're going to cut that cut piece into. And there's a number below it in a circle. So a lot of the times we're making 4 pages or 6 pages when we're using these cutting diagrams, and all these cut pieces can sort of get very disorganized. So that number inside of the circle there represents a pile that you're going to put that cut piece into. So for a 4-page tutorial, we're going to make 4 piles, and for a 6-page tutorial, we're going to make 6 piles. So the numbers are going to be either 1 through 4 or 1 through 6. So page 1 is going to have all the cut pieces that have a circle with the number 1 inside, and so on for the 4 or 6 pages. So now we're going to go ahead and take all pieces of our cardstock, and we are going to cut 1 inch in, 1 inch from the top, and 1 inch from the bottom. And we're going to make a straight line on all 4 sides of each of these pieces of cardstock. What we're basically doing is cutting a 10 by 10 inch square out of the center of this piece of cardstock. The border is going to be put into our pile, and the center, the 10 by 10 inch center, is going to be put to the side, and we're going to be cutting it with another cutting diagram as soon as we're done cutting out all of these squares. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the backgrounds for our pages. So we are going to be cutting the barcode strip off along with 1/2 inch, and then 1/2 inch on the other side. So we're going to be making an 11.5 inch by 11.5 inch square for all of our background papers. Okay, so now that we've spread out all of our bits and pieces and embellishments, we have our 12 by 12 sticker sheet to work with. We have both packs of bits and pieces, which are like the little die cut pieces, and then we have our chipboard stickers as well. And I did cut out earlier that spare sheet of cardstock or pattern paper from the collection kit that has all these 4x4 pieces. So we'll be incorporating that onto our pages as well. So what I love about this collection, and that's why I decided to do 6 pages with it, is that the colors are not really spring colors, or not necessarily summer colors. They almost have more of a fall color scheme. And sometimes camping for us is not early in the year. Sometimes we camp right through like September and maybe even the beginning of October. So not that I really wanted these pages to feel like fall, but I love that they incorporated a different color scheme that could work really for summer or fall time. And this collection has like fishing based stuff, hiking, camping, and just general like adventure and enjoying the outdoors. That's kind of the theme and the vibes behind this collection, and I just had so many pictures that would work well with this. So I used that tag as a background to layer a cluster of embellishments on in the top of that 4x6 photo area. This page doesn't really have an anchor spot for the embellishments besides the photo area, so I decided to kind of create one in that top corner by putting down that tag first, and then this adventure awaits bigger piece that I put down first at the bottom of that 4x6 photo area. I'm just going to kind of cluster around that with smaller embellishments, and I'm going to make sure to layer them differently. So that piece that says beautiful views is adhered directly to the page. It's a flat piece. Those words that say explore and trail are also flat on the page, and then hiking and viewpoint are popped up, And then those 3 bugs that I'm putting around it are all chipboard. So the chipboard and then the popped up stickers and the stuff that's flat on the page add some different heights and some different visual interest there. And I really love that arrow that says trail, along with that little sign of that man walking. So that page was inspired for like a hiking type of a feel for the page. So this second page here, I wanted to just talk about just generalized camping. So this is a page that I want to put like a group picture on. Sometimes when we camp as a group, we'll take like a big group picture sitting around the fire or sitting at a table, sitting down to eat supper. So this would be a great page to sort of summarize a whole camping trip and to include a picture of everybody that's there. So we have a lot of room at the bottom of this page because there's only one 4x6 photo area on it. So I used this 4x4 journaling card that says Born to Wander, and I adhered it directly to the page so it's flatter, but then I decided to incorporate smaller embellishments around it that were popped up. So there's the owl that says the mountains are calling and I must go, and then I popped up the tent. And then I also popped up this titling that says adventure. And I popped up this bear that says adventure this way. And then we sort of ended up with this big blank area. And I wasn't sure if I was going to do strip journaling in this area or if I wanted to include an actual like lined journaling card or just create a journaling spot for in that area. So what I did is we have a 10 by 10 inch spare sheet of Kraft cardstock left over from the cutting guide. So what I did is I just took a piece of white cardstock, I cut it down to 3 by 4 inches, and then I matted it. I matted it to just give it a little bit of extra pop on the page. So I matted it originally to 3.5 by 4.5, and then it was too big, so I trimmed it down to the Kraft mat to 3.25 by 4.25. Okay, and then I'm just gonna layer around that as well. It makes the bottom of this page kind of busy, but I feel like it all still works well together. And then at the top, I wanted to just include a very dainty embellishment along the top of that 4x6 photo area. So I included a strip that says live, love, and explore. Okay, so I needed to include a few phishing pages. So this is my first of 2 phishing pages that I decided to do with the theming of this kit. I included this 4x4 journaling card. I just like that the yellow sort of brought out a little bit of the mats from the pictures, and because that's really the only thing that's yellow on this page other than in the plaid paper. So I liked that it filled up that area, and it gave me a starting point to create a cluster. So I decided that I was going to put that flat on the page and then uncluster around it with those fish pieces that I'm going to pop up later. And then I included this embellishment that allows for a journaling opportunity. It says who, where, and when. So you can say like who caught the fish, where they caught it, when they caught it. I mean, you can definitely add more details in with some more, there's definitely more room on this page to create some more journaling. So yeah, I do pretty much the same thing I do on the other pages. I do some things that are flat, some things that are popped off the page with foam tape. And just to not leave that corner so blank, I put that little tag sticking out from the side of the page. It says fresh air. And at the bottom of that 3x4 photo area in the bottom right corner needed a little bit of something, so I decided to pop up a little tag here or die cut piece that says "Gone Fishing." So out of all the 6 pages in this cutting guide, this is probably the least inspiring page for me. I find the balance isn't right on the page, and just the way that the papers work together. I find that I sort of look at this page and don't necessarily see what I want to do with it right away. So this page always just requires a little bit more thinking for me. This time I decided to do what I did on the other page and include that 3x4 blank journaling card. Now, if you don't like your own writing, just make sure not to embellish around it, and you can just create like a 3x4 like text box in Pages or in the Word, like any kind of word processor, and print it out on there, and print it out on just like your scrapbook safe cardstock, and just print it out with your word processor and do it that way if you don't want to. Or if you do have like a typewriter, do it on a piece of cardstock before you cut it out the 3x4 area. But if not, you can just journal right into that. You can also buy journaling cards that have lines on them already, and you can cut them to size. But the inspiration for this page, what I did is I embellished around that journaling card there and filled up that bottom area. And the lanterns at the top, I didn't remove the adhesive on those 2 lanterns just because it'll be easier for me to swap in my picture later if the adhesive isn't on top of my photo mat. And the inspiration for this page, because it's that night sky kind of a background, is just going to be like sitting around the fire, some pictures like nighttime pictures. So that was the theming for this page. Okay, so I needed another fishing page in this collection, but I mean, if you don't need fishing pages at all, there's definitely a lot of extra embellishments in this kit. You can definitely incorporate a different theme to your page than me. The background paper for this page doesn't necessarily say fishing, but the reason why I decided to use this page for a fishing page is because a lot of the fishing embellishments are that greenish kind of a color, and I just wanted to incorporate that background color in with the embellishments. And the background is it has like outdoor scenery kind of pictures, and it has a tent and stuff. So I mean, it could be just a general camping page, and then but it incorporated that color that I wanted with all the other fishing embellishments. Like I popped up these fishes here throughout the page, but I made sure to layer those embellishments on top of that inner square, so it almost looks like those fish are hanging over that inside square, hanging over onto the background page. So it just almost makes it look like that center square with the Kraft cardstock is almost floating on top of that background page. I also wanted to do my fishing pictures on my layout that has a lot of photo areas. So there's a lot of events that usually happen on the boat. There's different people catching different fish, and it's like, oh, Mom, take a picture of this one, or Mom, take a picture of this one. Even if a lot of times we end up releasing the fish, they still want a picture of those moments. And there's always some kind of story along with every fish that they catch. And so for this last page here, there's so many embellishments left. I thought about incorporating all the trees that are left along with a lot of those like paw prints, and incorporating maybe that raccoon and the moose head, and making it like a hike, another sort of walking around, hiking, or even like a picture of us when we go quadding out in the bush. So I thought about doing that with this page, but then I saw all the awesome flowers and I was like, you know what, maybe we can do something with that. And it's not necessarily, doesn't necessarily say camping or whatever, but I thought they were awesome, and they still have like a nature thing to them. So I just wanted to incorporate these flowers, and I can use them in the same way that I would have used all those other elements. But if you don't like the flower look, you can definitely use like the trees that are left and some of the other elements. So this is just a general page that I wanted to take of us going down the trail. So that was the inspiration for this layout. I really hope you guys liked this week's tutorial. It was a lot of fun working with this collection, and that's why I chose to do 6 pages with it, because I think I can do so much with it with my pictures. And we will see you guys next Friday with a new tutorial. Thank you so much for watching.